is a NASCAR at Atlanta recap, but as the title says, this is pretty much going to be a little bit of a semi-rant on NASCAR and Goodyear. Kyle Busch won the race, giving the first victory for Toyota, but that's not even important. 13 cars finished on the lead lap in this race. A boring race. That's all you have to say. First off, for all the Tony Stewart haters out there, and Cobb Pizzle, who this is a video response to, number one, I'm not a Tony Stewart fan. I'm a Mayfield fan. So, yeah, you can pretty much tell the frustrations that I've had to go through for the past couple years. And number two, for anybody that's complaining about what Tony Stewart said, obviously didn't see that race, because quite frankly, I will sit here and tell you that was the hardest race for me to ever sit through and watch. That was harder to watch than some road races, quite frankly, because that was a short track race at Atlanta, quite frankly. I mean, it was everything in that race was hard to watch. And quite frankly, it doesn't even matter who's complaining. If the tires are junk, which is what they are, somebody needs to voice their complaints. I mean, I've never seen so many crashes this year due to exploding tires. So Goodyear freaks and gives us this super hard compact tire for Atlanta, and in result created the sorriest racing Atlanta Motor Speedway and fans have ever seen. Because that was pathetic, folks. Anybody that didn't see that race will have no idea. You have no idea, quite frankly. Stewart's not whining. He's just showing his displeasure with a poor quality product, and he has every reason to. I mean, Goodyear is getting millions of dollars for the right to supply tires, and they can't even live up to their part of the contract. And you can't give crap just because you got a contract. And as far as I'm concerned, Tony should just keep giving them hell, because they deserve every damn second of it, quite frankly. We as fans should hold companies like Goodyear accountable for what they produce and expect us to pay good money to watch it. The reason Tony gets all the headlines for all this kind of stuff is because reporters ask Tony what he thinks, because they know he'll tell them the truth and he won't sugarcoat it. Which is why everybody's complaining about the tires. It's just that someone needs to sell their story, and Tony's always the first one they go to. That's where it all comes from. If anybody watched Race Day on Speed yesterday, Tony tried to be clean about it when talking about Goodyear, but then Kenny Wallace, like he is, brought it up again, and he was almost daring Tony to start trash talking Goodyear, and he was more than happy to do so. This is why I can't stand all these guys like Jimmy Spencer and all these guys that work for NASCAR that are saying that Tony doesn't know what he's talking about. Folks, you shouldn't even listen to these guys' opinions, because the fact is they're getting paid by NASCAR to say this stuff. So you shouldn't even listen to those guys. You should not even take their opinions seriously, quite frankly. Jimmy Spencer, I mean, I've liked the guy. I think he's good as an announcer, but to say that a guy is wrong for stating his opinion and his complaints is ridiculous, because guess what, Jimmy? You're now getting paid by NASCAR, and quite frankly, I don't even believe everything you say anymore. That's pretty much all you have to say. If someone's complaining, you have to listen, because it's not just him that's complaining. Everyone's complaining, folks. And for those of you that don't believe me, you obviously haven't been listening to any racing shows or any NASCAR related shows, because more than a few drivers are complaining about tires. Junior, Jimmy, who's pretty much been pretty bad this year, Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, Jeff Burton, Ian Gordon, Kyle Busch is complaining, Bobby Labonte, and the list goes on and on and on. Everyone's complaining about tires and how poor the product Goodyear is bringing to the track. It's that simple. If you don't believe me, get a Sirius radio, listen to some of the NASCAR programs, and hear every driver and every crew chief hating on Goodyear's tires. And as long as I'm speaking about Tony, it's nice to see somebody telling it like it is and isn't intimidated by NASCAR, unlike their TV announcers. Last time Tony told the truth about Goodyear, Goodyear threatened to pull the plug on his $600 year sponsor fund. And anybody that doesn't remember, a couple years back, Michelin had a problem, a similar incident like this in nature in Formula one time. And guess what happened to them, folks? Formula One terminated their contract after one incident. Goodyear's now screwed up 3 times in the first 4 races this year, and God knows how many times last year. This is getting pathetic. This is crap. And it's time for more fans to step up and say, I want better racing again, because this is getting ridiculous. Anybody that saw that race live at the track, I feel sorry for them, because that was the worst racing I've ever seen, period. Competition is the key, folks, and as long as Goodyear is running the show at NASCAR and they can bring whatever the hell they want to the track, this is what we're going to get. We're going to get continuous crap from Goodyear because they know they're the only ones running this show tire-wise, and so they'll just bring whatever the hell they want to the track. And competition is the key without interference in this NASCAR mafia out here. Also, did anybody notice that debris caution during the first caution yesterday? Because I sure didn't. They were just hoping that that would just make the race more interesting, which unfortunately they failed. Did anyone also notice that when they showed that so-called gopher cam, how one of them pointed out all the empty seats in the grandstands? These guys are so predictable, it's not even funny. Goodyear ran tests over the off season because they knew they screwed up last year. There is no excuse on the highest level of racing to be giving piece of crap tire equipment, ruining this sport. People want to complain about everything, but they got good reason to, because it sucks. It absolutely sucks. There is no excuse for Goodyear to not being better prepared this season. When it's, and I'll go ahead and say it now, when it's Junior that crashes because of a tire issue, everyone will be bowing down to Tony and saying, Tony's right, he's the man, he's God, he's everything. I mean, when Junior crashed at California because of the track, oh, they should have never started the race because that was Junior that crashed. So I guess something needs to happen to Junior before people start believing Tony Stewart, because quite frankly, unless a big name gets knocked out, no one's going to pay any attention to what Tony Stewart's got to say, because it's just something that he does. But this is what happens when you have an exclusive tire supplier in NASCAR. Goodyear has paid NASCAR hundreds of millions of dollars over the year to be the exclusive tire manufacturer in this sport. They negotiated that exclusion when Firestone was kicking their ass in open wheel racing, and when Hoosier was giving them fits in NASCAR years back. Apparently, Goodyear can afford forcing out all the competition so they can run the show, and of course it's not their lives on the line when a tire explodes, so why do they care? So they don't do anything about it, and it's crap. How many teams are going to be fixing wrecked race cars because of the fact of all these tires that they're forced to use? Forced to use. I mean, this is what we're going to keep getting, and it's pathetic. Here's what they need to do. It's not up to Goodyear to decide what tire to bring. They should go to the drivers, tell them what kind of tire they want, and then Goodyear make that tire. It's that simple. And if they have tire problems at the track, then guess what? It's on the drivers, not on Goodyear. And then Goodyear could be off the hook. That's how you solve this problem. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say. I really need to get this off my chest because this was something that was really bugging me. So now I've said it. This is JTH. I'm out. Good day, everybody.